afternoon. Hi, how's everyone doing? You all look good? You feel good? All right, let me get myself together here. You know, Candy, you left the little snow cone dropping, so hold on. I didn't get a chance to have dessert. It's just the coconut on top. So, Candy, where are you? Are you mad at me? I said what? I enjoyed it. I did. It was a little coconutty top. Okay, so I am delighted to be back here this year. Thank you, Deborah Rosen, for inviting me back. I am a stand-up comedian, so I want the microphone. I want to hold it this way, and I want to walk and talk just a little bit. I'm going to talk about getting naked. I'm going to get naked right now. But I'm not going to take off my clothing because I will scare everyone in the room, including myself. Or I'm going to get the other kind of naked where I really reveal myself. And that's actually scarier to me. If you said to me, strip naked right now or tell the truth, really strip naked, that's the part that's tough and it requires courageousness. And so we're going to just play a little bit. The first thing I want to do is I want to give a tribute to Suzanne Somers, who's going to come out and speak to you soon. Is Suzanne in the room? It would be really convenient if she was, because I'm going to talk about her a little bit and tell you how delighted that I said yes to this, and then I heard that she was going to be here, and I was like, that's a bonus for me. She is a goddess and a guru to me, and I'm going to tell you why. First of all, we have a lot in common. We both played characters on TV that were... Listen, some people would say we're dingy. You know, Chrissy Snow, and those of you who ever saw my show, Living Single, my character was Sinclair James. Maybe dingy, but I would call us light-filled, joy-filled characters who were in tap with our inner child. If that's dingy, then I'll take dingy any day. She worked dingy all the way to the bank, didn't she? She did. And so did I. We'll talk about that. It works. So we have that in common, that we got a chance to play these characters on TV. And what we also have in common is very early in our careers, that was taken away from us. Sinclair wasn't taken away from me. My In Living Color experience was, and I'll come back to that in just a minute. But she stood for what she really wanted. And I'll let her, of course you know her story, and she'll tell her own story. But she fought for what she really wanted and fought through the Hollywood politics to be strong and be courageous and be where she is. And I did that too, and I'm fitting to tell you my story in a minute. And yes, I did say fitting to. I just went Southern on you. The other thing that's amazing about Suzanne Somers, and I was just so thrilled to be here, and why she is my goddess and my guru is, I was going through a time in my career where my career just wasn't happening. Things were not going well for me. I was on a show in Chicago, and that had just been canceled. And I flipped on the TV, and there was Suzanne Somers talking about this massive fire that had happened at her home in Malibu. And she was sitting there just sort of picking through the rubble and the charred mess that was left. And the reporter said, well, you know, how do you feel about this? What do you think about this? And she said, these are just things. This is just stuff. I'm alive. My husband is alive. My family is well. I have my health. This is just stuff. This means nothing to me. I can always rebuild. And I knew in that moment that either she was very spiritual or very rich. I suspect a little of both. And I admired that she had built this empire for herself. And I decided in that moment it was time for me to build a Kimpire. You are all part of my Kimpire right now because like I said, I paid attention to what she did. And what she did was she was just being truthful. She's always been naked. I think she has a book that has the word naked in the title, about being open and honest and just being your truthful self. And I need to be that in the world and remind other people they can be that too. And there's been plenty of places in my life where just being me has worked out really well. And that goes against the counterculture of Hollywood, of being something else, looking something else, wearing something, you know, of trying to keep up with the Joneses. And I've learned over the course of time that actually keeping up with the Joneses is really a lot of work. And I don't know, if you really look behind the Joneses' door, you may not like what you see back there. You know what y'all, who knows what I'm talking about? I'm trying to keep up with the Joneses, and I find out the Joneses are broke. The Joneses aren't doing any better than I am. So let's just get naked. Here we go. So I'm going to go to my In Living Color experience. I grew up watching Carol Burnett and Lucille Ball and Lily Tomlin and Ruth Buzzy on TV. You all remember these fabulous, funny, glamorous, amazing ladies. If I don't tell this, I saw Ruth Buzzy in an Office Depot in LA, and I couldn't even go say, I couldn't bear myself to go say hello to you. But Ruth Buzzy, you're my goddess. I grew up watching these women. I didn't know what they did, but I just knew they were funny and amazing, and that's what I wanted to do. And I had my chance to do that. And listen, the other show I watched was Laugh-In. I'm showing my age. I'm 52. I tell the truth. I'm 52. Remember Laugh-In and how good that was? Okay, you're clapping for 52? 52 and no work yet. But I'm going to do it all. I'm going to lift everything up. I am. Oh, yes. Here's what I've decided I'm going to do. I'm going to have a breast lift, but I'm going to lift them up into shoulder pads. I am. No one has thought that through. I did. Thank you. Make them work for me. Shoulder pads are back. No, those are her breasts. It's great. It's going to be great. So I had the opportunity to audition for a show that was going to be a multi-culti variety show. And that show became In Living Color. And it was on Fox, which was a brand new renegade network, and it was a lot of fun, and there was a lot of hype about it, and it was really a cool experience because now I was going to get a chance to be my version of Carol Burnett. Yay! And as the show went on, I realized that actually there was some politics behind the scenes, and those politics came in the name of that most of the people on the show had the same last name, the name Wayans. We all love the Wayans. There's about 50 million Wayanses. There's probably one in the room right now. There's one everywhere. There's a lot of Wayans. And there's nothing wrong with that, except there's a lot of competition if you're working on a show where everybody has the same last name. And after the first year, I was released. I was let go. Oh, hell, I was fired. And I had to deal with that experience of being canned off my first big Hollywood experience. It was so embarrassing. I can't even tell you all the conversations around, self-worth and do I belong here and what is it about me? And I really think about it, it really wasn't me. I did my best, I really did. I showed up every day for work, and some days I would show up and rehearse a sketch, and the next day my name would be off and someone else's name would be on, who may or may not have had the last name Wayans, but that's another story. I'm not bitter. I'm not bitter. But I remember at that time there was a statement that came out that they, the brass, they put out that was like, oh, creative differences. I'm like, no, the only difference is I don't work there no more. I don't have a difference. I want to work there. And I remember really fighting to have my truth be told. The truth is, and you want to be political, I get that, but I made sure that my publicist and I crafted a phrase that was my truth, that was the truth. Don't say it was creative differences. Say that I've moved on, but y'all pushed me out the door. And having that experience early on in Hollywood was the best thing that could have happened to me because I drew my line in the sand about who I was going to be and who I was going to show up in the world, that I was going to tell the truth, good, bad, or indifferent, There's a phrase someone says, I'd rather hear the ugly truth than a pretty lie. The ugly truth versus the pretty lie. I'll take that any day because I can deal with that. Okay, so now life goes on, and I go on, and I like to tell people there's a thing that I went into in Hollywood, and you'll understand this because it's in every industry. It's called meet and eat. And meet and eat is when someone invites you out for breakfast or lunch, and then you take the rest of the food home for dinner. It's great if you're broke, because I didn't cook for months because I'd been canned off of my show. And I was invited to a meet and eat by some executives that said, we want to put together a show with women and African-American women and how they feel about each other and their careers and how they feel about men. And by the way, what do you think of Queen Latifah? Oh my God, I'm a big fan of hers. I love her. I had no idea that concurrently, and yes, that's a big word, they were having the same meetings with her. And what do you think of Kim Coles? I like her. She's funny. My Queen Latifah imitation, thank you. She's funny. And they put Queen Latifah and Kim Coles together, and that show became Living Single. A lot of people don't know that show was created around the two of us. It was an awesome experience because I went from the very bottom of the totem pole on a show called In Living Color to the very top of the totem pole of a show called Living Single. Maybe there's something, I need my next show to have the word living in it. That would be very nice. Here was a show where my feelings and ideas and everything was treasured. Do you know what I'm saying? I didn't have to sit in my dressing room crying, waiting to work because they were asking me, what do you think? Join in. And it was a beautiful experience, and it was awesome because I had a chance to just be me. I've learned over the years that just showing up and just being me works for me. Anytime I try to cover up and do something else, it really doesn't work. And I don't know if you all know this in your life too. Has anybody here ever felt weird or strange or ostracized because you were different or you did something different or you had a different thing or you did a thing? Anybody else, maybe in high school? Or most of us, look at us, we're all a little different. But do you know that that's what makes you beautiful? Have you had that experience that years later or a minute later or whatever period of time passed, that very thing that you were weird for or strange about turned out to be your gift? Like my thing was that I was goofy. I was a goofy girl in high school. I was, and that worked for me, I realize now. At the time, you don't know, you're just doing what you do. I love to tell that I wanted to go to the high school for the performing arts. And some of you will remember that as the Fame High School. Remember the movie Fame, the TV series Fame? You remember Debbie Allen saying, "You want fame? Well, right here is where you start paying, in sweat." Debbie Allen kick. Note to self, stretch before you do the kick. Well, I wanted to go to that high school so bad because I wanted to be famous, like I told you. I knew I wanted to be Carol Burnett or all those girls. Maybe I didn't even know what fame meant. And so I went and I auditioned. You had to audition to get in. I prepared my audition to get in, and I went and stood in line with all the other kids, and they had a lot of professional kids, like those Broadway kids, like Annie, those kids. I remember standing in line and getting so intimidated because they were all ready, and I was just like, wanted to do this. And at the last minute, I chickened out. I did, because I just don't belong here. What is it? This is not where I belong. They're so good, and I don't know what I'm doing. I realized that I wanted to go to a special place because the high school that I was zoned to go to, by the way, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Thank you. Brooklyn in the house, Brooklyn. Ooh. So Brooklyn is fabulous now, but back then there was some danger. And the high school I was zoned to go to was going to be dangerous. You were required to bring a knife to school. And because I was so corny, I knew I wasn't going to last. So I decided to take a test to go to a specialized high school. It's a high school called Brooklyn Technical High School. And as the name would imply, it was for, kids who were real smart, brainiacs as we used to call them, science and math. Like my friends now are architects and engineers and really, really smart. I took the test, and how I got in, I'll never know. I must have been smart enough just to be able to take that test. But here's what's awesome, is that if I had gone to the high school for the performing arts, I would have been a small fish in a big pond. In a place like Brooklyn Technical High School with all those eggheads, I could be the biggest fish of all. All I had to do was be me, and I was just me. I was fluffy, as we like to call it. I was a fluffy girl. Candy, I'm fluffy. All them potato chips, I should know better. I've learned, thank you. I know better, I know. I was a fluffy girl. I still am, but that's another story. And I remember looking at the landscape of high school and going, oh, wow, they're going to call me fat. I'm going to be the fat girl, because everybody gets a label in high school. There's the pretty girl, there's the jock, there's the smart kid, there's the pee-pee boy, there's all these names. We all have a pee-pee boy in school. And don't you want to be friends with him, but he kind of smells like pee? And remember you used to spray your Jean Naté on him? Which doesn't smell much better than the pee, but that's another story. I don't even know where I'm doing on time. I know I'm too much. I'm not enough. And so I knew that I didn't want to be the fat girl. I knew that would be a tragic title. I knew there was something more inside of me other than what was on the outside. I knew that what was inside of me was special. I didn't know what it was. But I started making jokes and being silly and being goofy and putting M&Ms in my nose and hiking up my pants really high and talking in different voices. And not like I was crazy, but like I was funny. And when I tell you guys, it worked. I became crazy Kim Coles. People saw who I was on the inside and never paid attention. I was never called fat, never. I was on the cheering squad. I was a baton twirler, and I would twirl my baton, and because my butt was big, my skirt would hike up on my butt. And I would march on that field and be proud. To pull my skirt down every once in a while. I had the experience that a fat girl never has in high school. I dated 2 boys on the football team. Not at the same time. I'm a good girl. But here's an example of when I just realized, just be yourself, just be you. And maybe I didn't really get it until later. You know, like you look back on your life and you go, wait a minute, I was just me. I didn't have to be anything else. Just me, just let you see who I am. And it's worked for me. Cammie read my bio that yes, I made fluffy work for me. I was a plus size model for a while. And I did a lot of those bad church basement fashion shows. You've either been in them or you've been to them. You know, the ones where the girls walk sideways. Listen, what other profession can you have your cake and be photographed with it too? It's great. And I entered myself into the big, beautiful woman beauty pageant. Oh, it was going to be a pageant just for us fluffy girls. And the last month before it was time to go to the pageant in Atlantic City, I got a call from the pageant director. Hi, Kim, it's Laverne Lipschitz. How are you, darling? How are you, sweetheart? Listen, we've decided to add a talent competition to the show. Yes, talent. Darling, you're going to be fine. You'll figure it out. All right, darling. See you in Atlantic City. Like, talent? I don't have any talent. I thought about it. I don't have the traditional talents. I don't sing. I don't dance. I don't do that thing that the pageant girls do. I don't know how to be that. I only know how to be me. Naked, crazy, goofy me. And so I made up a routine based on how stupid beauty pageants are. Comedy routine. Yes, and I knew that it was going to be an audience full of fluffy girls, so I knew what I was doing. So I made fun of the little skinny girls. Yes, especially the ones who twirl a baton and say they want to be Miss America. What's that? But what the audience didn't know, but you do, because I've just told you, I really do know how to twirl a baton. At just the right moment, I ripped off my dress, and underneath, I was wearing a silly little sequin outfit, but in a size 16. And I twirled my baton to the tune of Thriller. Yes, yes, Thriller. And guess what? I won first runner-up. I did what? What? Now, I'm not telling you this to brag, but I'm telling you because here's an example of where I just showed up and I was just me. And it was awesome. And I was a winner, a first runner-up. That's good, because it's much less pressure than being the girl who wins. I could go back onto my own life. So I'm just giving you examples of when I showed up and just have been my authentic me. And I bet you all have stories of just like moments where you just said, I'm just going to take all this off, whatever this is. In my case, I took off all my extensions. Plus, I couldn't afford them anymore. They're just getting too expensive. You know, there's a place I used to go that was, I guess it must have been like a drug buy. I've never bought the drugs myself. I don't know. But you had to go, like, open a little thing and go, hi, I want 4 pounds of the black wavy hair. Give me some of that. Close. Give me my hair. Let me go. It became this thing. I had to shed that because it just wasn't me anymore. I'm not mad at you if you do it because, frankly, I've got color in it. Let's keep it real now. I've got color in it. I just don't have that extra fake stuff going like this because that's not what my hair doesn't do this. My hair does this. And that's beautiful too. That's beautiful too. So after I left Living Single, I The good news about being on a series like this, and I'm sure Suzanne will attest, or any achievement that you've had in your life that was a huge achievement, I call it the sparkling jewel of my career. You know, where do you go from that? Living Single lasted for 5 years, and it still airs in reruns, and I appreciate you all watching it. I do, thank you. But then the show's over. And what do you do now? I keep auditioning, and I worked a little bit, and I shopped. Oh, I worked a little bit. I did a few episodes of Frasier. That was nice. But I had a whole lot of time, so I shopped some more. And I found myself shopping more than I was working. And at some point, I shopped myself through all of the money that I had made. All of it. You know, down to one last hair weave and one last mortgage payment. It was sad, and it was bad, and I just thought it was going to keep going. I don't know, I thought it was going to keep, I'm just going to keep being me, and it's just going to keep working. And the industry has other plans, and not everyone can stay on top all the time, and that's okay, except now I was broke, and frankly, I was broken, because what is it about me that wanted to shop all of my money away? I got myself into therapy, because I got myself really down on myself. You know, I was doing I beat myself up. I was on my back, Miss Candy. I was on my own back. Like, what is it about me that I couldn't sustain this? What am I going to do? I got very depressed. And I got some help. I found out that the Screen Actors Guild, my union, gives you 40 sessions of therapy a year at a $20 copay. You all want to be actors now, don't you? It almost pays to be a little cuckoo. That's great. Not really cuckoo, but you know what I'm saying. I got myself in therapy, and I got myself help. And the first thing that I learned was, first of all, be grateful. Be grateful for what you already have. You already have so much. Keep a list of what you already have. Keep a gratitude journal. I started keeping a gratitude journal. And at first, I was depressed. I was like, whatever. I'm happy for the 5 fingers on my left hand. I'm grateful for my eyelashes there. I'm grateful. And as the weeks went on, I had to really pull from life and pull what I'm grateful for. I'm grateful for the air that I breathe. I'm grateful to wake up in the morning. I'm grateful for this lady in red right here. She's so foxy and fabulous and blonde. I'm grateful. I love it all. I'm loving life and pulling it all in. And I really do think that when you're grateful, I think the universe or God or your trusted source or whoever you talk to says, wait a minute, she likes that fluffy cloud I sent her. Let me send her something to help her out. Let me send her a new job or a tall, delicious man or a pair of comfortable shoes or a beautiful sister in the front row to look at, my blonde, redhead fabulousness, whatever. Let me send her something to give her more. So gratitude unlocks so much more. I'm going to tell you guys, after keeping my gratitude journal for 30 days, I received a residual check that paid my mortgage for 5 months. Now, maybe it was on its way, or maybe I was just so grateful that when it came on in, I was able to receive it. I like to think that it was my bonus for just being who I am and just being naked and being truthful and getting to the truth of who I am. And all that stuff, all those Louis Vuitton. By the way, do you understand that Louis Vuitton is coated canvas? You get that, right? Like some of it's leather, but the iconic icon thing is canvas. Coated canvas. I don't even know what it's coated with. I can go to Target and get me a regular canvas bag and just keep stepping. It's coated. They've got us. Speaking of keeping stepping, I had some of those red bottom shoes. Y'all know the red bottom shoes? When you walk, the red shows. Do you know that when you walk, the red wears off? It's like your wallet is bleeding. I mean, if you can really afford it, and that's great, but if you're doing it to keep up with the Joneses, all we're looking at is your scuffed up red bottoms and the blood just trailing, your wallet just trailing. I just want to give you another way to think about it, another way to look at it. You feel me? I got into that space where this is what I was going through. That residual check came in, and I realized the realization came in that I needed to just be me. And so whether or not I'm on a TV show, I'm still worth something. Whether or not I'm working or not, my gift is love and laughter. I did it when I was in high school. I did it when I won first runner-up at that pageant. I don't have to be on a TV show to spread my love and laughter, to spread my gift. And so I thought, since I've been through this, let me help other people go through this too. And that's why I wrote my own gratitude journal. I have my own personal one, but I created one to put out in the world for all of you. And so that if you're going through a journey and you just don't know where to start with gratitude. And this journal is here for you today. If you have a friend that's going through something that's difficult or tough or just needs that extra little kick, you can get one for her or for him. I see some men in the room. Thank you, testosterone. Where's the testosterone? I saw a man up there. Hey, testosterone. You know where to be. Tell the other men that this is come to the women's conferences. This is the place to be, right, dude? He's absolutely, yeah, I like it. So if you're interested, I have that for you, and I can share that journey with you. I share some of my stories, and I leave room for you and for yours. I've run out of time to tell you my Bill Cosby story. I had a great Bill Cosby story. Well, it's about being authentic. Long story short, I was doing warm-up. You know, comics are hired to keep comedy shows going, you know, while in between the sets changes and all. And I was performing, and I had maybe 20 minutes of material, and I needed 3 hours of. And Mr. Cosby saw me dry heaving. He said, "Come here, kid. I want to talk to you for a second. Come here." By the way, this is on, you know, the Huxtable show. He pulls me to go and sit and talk to him on the Huxtable sofa. Can you still see me? I'm sitting next to the Bill Cosby, one of my icons. And he's talking to me, but I got up and left my body. How is it I'm sitting on the Huxtable sofa? And he starts to talk to me. What I want you to do is you have to listen to the people and do the thing and move the thing with the thing. And I'm like, what is he talking about? And I was staring at him like, wow, just get yourself in your body. And notice he had little freckles. Like, oh, Bill Cosby has freckles. Oh, look, he has hair in his ears. That's so cute. And there was a moment when he noticed that I wasn't really there, and I know it because he said to me, "Have you been listening to a word that I've been saying to you?" And all I could do was be honest. "Mr. Bill Cosby, I can't believe I'm sitting next to my idol, sir. Thank you. I got naked. Mr. Cosby, I'm sorry, I'm not here, but I'm here, but I'm not here." And he says, "All right, kid, go on out there and do your thing, but I'll be watching." I got fired from that job, but the good news is years later, I was performing. He saw me perform, and he sent his telephone number backstage for me to call him. And when I called him, he gave me the best advice of my life. He said, "I've been listening to you. I've been watching you. I like what you're doing. I like that thing. Don't do that thing. Move that thing over there. Do the thing that you think." And this time I was really listening. And I am certain that because I had been honest with him that day so many years before, that he gave me another chance. So give yourself a chance to just be your authentic, amazing self. You are perfect as you are. And I have a friend that says this, and this is kind of awesome, that the difference between imperfect and I'm perfect is just an apostrophe. I'll meet you over at the Gratitude Journal table. Thank you very much. I'm Kim Coles. Thank you.